Now, while Republicans move forward with a strong America First agenda and candidates, the same cannot be said for Democrats, who have now made extreme now the mainstream as this party now continues its radical shift to the left. And the man running for Senate, for example, in the great state of Maine with the support of many elected Democrats, Graham Platner, is just the latest example. Democrats were apparently willing to overlook his Nazi-linked tattoo, but new reporting today shows just how absolutely, truly depraved this man was. According to a very explosive report from Fox News Digital, unearthed Reddit posts showing Platner previously praising really disgusting graffiti of male genitalia, while also making a vile, disgusting admission about his own behavior. How do I say this? And your children can keep watching in porta potties. The worst part is those posts are not all that old. One in question was made in 2021, one in 2017. You know, both being posted when he was well over 30 years old. This guy is a total, complete lunatic. He previously appeared to blame sexual assault victims attacking rural white Americans, described himself as a communist. Still not a word of criticism from Chucky Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, or Democratic leadership. Just the opposite. He's being endorsed by people like, Bernie Sanders, etc. And in a recent interview with the New York Times, he even called for a political revolution. Take a listen.
You have talked about wanting to completely break the system as it works now.
We need a political revolution in this country. Without question, that is the only way we're going to effectively resist the Trump administration, but also the only way we're going to effectively build power to, I think, rebuild the American political system to be more representative of the average American.
Oh, we happen to be in the middle of one, and I prefer one that didn't have people that once thought it was a good idea to put on a Nazi tattoo. Now, Platner isn't the only Democrat spewing more extremist rhetoric. Maryland Governor Wes Moore told Politico that he thinks racism is a part of an inherent fabric of the USA. Take a look.
Is this a racist country, do you think? I think that racism is part of an inherent fabric of this country. And I think we have to be honest about that. Now, I do think there is a healing that can still take place from that. But again, to deny our history is foolish.
Now, meanwhile, House Minority Leader, leader in name only, Hakeem Jeffries, is now refusing to tone down the rhetoric, now says he wants to, quote, break the spirit of President Trump's supporters. And here's what he said.
Either MAGA extremists are going to break the country or we're going to break them. And our goal is to break them. We will defeat them. We have to beat them electorally, and then we have to break their spirit.
Well, break their spirit. Gavin Newsom also weighing in, trying to gaslight the American people over the redistricting war, claiming they had to fight fire with fire. Speaking of fires, maybe you should think about hydrants with water and reservoirs with water. But why would he ever go to work? Take a look.
We have to be, dare I say it, I'm sorry, Democrats, that we have to be as ruthless as our opposition. We do. We have to win. It's all on the line. You just got to win. I'm done winning arguments. With all due respect to the niceties, it feels good, but we're going to lose our republic. Again, the founding fathers did not live and die for this moment. I can't celebrate July 4th.
His dream would be to make America just like California. That would be an unmitigated disaster. And of course, the left is still pushing comparisons between President Trump and Adolf Hitler and comparing ICE agents to Nazis and Gestapo. Now take a look at these disgusting comments from failed Minneapolis Mayor Smallfry back in the news. Take a look.
There's a historical analog here, which is the SS. The SS was unaccountable to the parliament. They answered only to Hitler. ICE also, once they get the funding and have these massive increases to the extent that it's larger than the FBI, they largely don't need approvals from the congressional body. It is very much Donald Trump's force.
Also tonight, President Trump has settled his $10 billion lawsuit with the IRS after suing over the illegal disclosure of not only his tax records, his entire family, every company owned by the Trump organization, by a rogue IRS contractor who broke the law in doing so. And as part of the agreement to end this case, the DOJ rightly agreed to set aside the patriotic amount of $1.76 billion to settle other claims like this. In a statement tonight, the Trump organization tells us that the settlement helped provide accountability for the illegal leak of the tax information of President Trump, his sons, and over 500 Trump organization entities, leaks that resulted in criminal charges, prison sentences, and the statement also says the settlement sends a very clear bipartisan message. The weaponization of our federal government and our agencies will no longer be tolerated. The left acts as though the release of personal private tax returns and weaponization, that's okay? All right, thanks for watching. Check out my new podcast, Hanging Out with me, Sean Hannity. The big interviews, the debates you won't get anywhere else. Like and subscribe for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.